You know, sometimes you witness something in music that just feels significant, like a real historical marker.
Definitely. And we just saw one of those moments, didn't we?
Yeah,
An artist wrapping things up in a way that gets everyone talking.
exactly. It feels like the end of an era, truly. And that's what we're doing a deep dive on today. We're talking about Ozzy Osbourne.
Ah, yes, his final live performance with Black Sabbath, no less. Just
Mhm.
incredibly emotional, historic stuff.
It really is. And our info comes from a detailed news report that just came out yesterday, actually, July 6th, 2025. So it's all very fresh.
Right, hot off the press. So our mission here really is to get into the nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah, beyond the headlines.
Exactly. Look at the key details, the vibe, the deeper meaning of this whole Back to the Beginning festival.
We want to pull out the really compelling bits, don't we? The performances, the behind-the-scenes stuff.
Yeah, so you, listening, can really get what made this particular show so unforgettable. A real punctuation mark on rock history.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Where did this huge farewell actually happen? Because the location itself is pretty key.
Oh, absolutely. It was at Villa Park in Birmingham, England.
Right, the place where Black Sabbath first got together. Talk about symbolic.
Totally. A genuine return to the beginning. It's baked right into the story.
And the festival name reflected that too, right? Back to the beginning.
It did. It served like a dual purpose. It was a massive tribute to Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness, of course, but also his final definitive goodbye.
And this all went down when just this past Saturday.
Yep, Saturday night, July 5th, 2025. So, like we said, super recent, still buzzing, I think.
And Ozzy himself, I mean, 76 years old. It's just incredible.
The longevity is amazing.
Mhm.
And the report mentioned his solo set, his first in almost 7 years.
Yeah. And apparently he didn't hold back, full energy on songs like Crazy Train.
Right, and then real raw emotion, they said, during Mama, I'm Coming Home.
It's pretty compelling, isn't it? An artist dealing with, age, health stuff, but still just commanding that stage, that vitality.
It really is. It felt like more than just playing the hits. It was a statement. But the absolute core of the night, you have to say, was the Black Sabbath reunion.
Oh, absolutely. The main event.
And not just any Sabbath reunion. This is the original guys. Ozzy, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and crucially, Bill Ward on drums.
Bill Ward. That's the key bit, isn't it? Because they hadn't all played together. When was the last time?
The report says 2005. So
Yeah.
almost 20 years for that specific, iconic four-piece to be back on stage.
Wow. 20 years. That's a long wait for fans.
Huge. And they apparently delivered, closed the whole festival with this massive 4-song punch.
What were they? War Pigs?
Yep. War Pigs, NIB, Iron Man, and then finished with Paranoid. A stirring finale was the phrase used.
Just classic after classic. A
Yeah.
proper heavy metal send-off.
Totally. But it wasn't purely nostalgia either.
Yeah.
There was this sense of passing the torch almost.
How so?
Well, like James Hetfield from Metallica. He introduced the whole evening, gave this really heartfelt tribute, basically saying Sabbath paved the way for generations of bands like them.
That's significant. Hetfield saying that carries weight.
It really does. It makes you think about how these foundational bands kind of, hand things over publicly.
And it wasn't just Metallica, right? The festival was stacked with tributes.
Oh, yeah. The report listed Metallica, Pantera, Tool, Anthrax, all paying their respects on stage.
That's quite a lineup. It really shows Sabbath's reach, doesn't it? Across all the different styles of metal.
Absolutely. From thrash to, the more proggy stuff with Tool, everyone came to honor them. It shows how fundamental they were.
And Ozzy's actual stage presence. The report mentioned something quite specific. He wasn't just standing there.
No, get this. He was seated on a black Gothic throne.
A throne. Seriously.
Yeah. Which, talk about reinforcing the whole Prince of Darkness thing. It gave him this instant kind of regal, untouchable vibe even while seated.
That's quite a visual. A Gothic throne at 76. Almost theatrical.
Definitely created a powerful image. And from that throne, apparently right before the last song, he spoke to the crowd.
Oh yeah, what did he say?
Something like, your support over the years has made it all possible. Simple, but you can just picture the emotion. Real gratitude.
Wow. Yeah, you can imagine that hitting hard. For him and for the crowd.
And that moment, that whole show, wasn't just for the people in Birmingham.
Ah, right. It was streamed globally.
Exactly. The report mentioned a worldwide stream, so fans everywhere can tune in and witness it, which, really amplifies the impact. Made it a global metal community event.
Makes sense. An event this big needs that kind of reach.
For sure. And putting something like this together, It doesn't just happen.
No kidding. Who are the main organizers mentioned?
The report credited Sharon Osbourne, naturally, and also Tom Morello, said they were key in bringing together decades of heavy metal history.
Sharon and Tom Morello. That's quite the team. You can see the vision there, pulling all those threads together. Huge undertaking.
Massive. Logistically, emotionally, everything. But it's interesting, even at these big celebratory moments, other things can bubble up.
Oh, like what?
Well, the report included this little aside. Apparently, David Draymond from Disturbed Nermans, he was there doing a supergroup set. He actually got booed by some people.
Really? Why?
Seems it was related to some ongoing political controversy surrounding him.
Ah, okay. So even in the middle of this huge Ozzy and Sabbath celebration.
Exactly. It's a reminder that these events don't happen in a vacuum. You know, the real world, audience feelings, other controversies, they can still surface.
Yeah.
Gives you a sort of wider, more complex picture of the whole festival.
Yeah, that's true. It's not always just one smooth narrative, is it? Life's messier than that.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Highlights that live events have all sorts of energies swirling around.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up then. What have we really seen in this deep dive?
Well, we've seen the sheer scale of Ozzy's farewell. The huge significance of getting that original Black Sabbath lineup back together one last time.
Yeah, especially with Bill Ward. That was massive.
And just the enduring legacy that was being celebrated. You know, this whole back to the beginning thing really hammered that home.
It feels like more than just a concert, doesn't it? Like you said earlier, a real cultural moment for the whole genre.
Absolutely. And it makes you, the listener, maybe stop and think, what does a farewell like this actually mean today for how we think about endings in music?
And what does it tell us about the staying power of these legendary bands? Their influence just seems elemental, almost.
Right. In a music world that changes so fast and leads to maybe one last thought to chew on.
Go on.
Well, you see so many artists doing endless tours, right? Multiple farewell tours sometimes.
Yeah, it can feel a bit diluted sometimes.
Exactly. So what does it truly mean when an icon like Ozzy delivers something that feels so final, so definite? This performance felt unambiguous.
That's a great point. How does that kind of clear, strong ending shape how we remember them? How it cements their legacy, maybe, for generations way down the line, long after the music stops?
Something to think about, definitely.